Yes, boys, how are we all? Welcome back to another video. Been away from making videos for a few weeks. I thought, we need some content, and I thought it would be a good idea to react to our predictions finally from the start of the season. Our table predictions, and this is gonna be our championship table reaction video. That I made back at the start of the season. See how well we did. If you want to enjoy this, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So first off, bottom of the table, 24th, I predicted Sheffield Wednesday. And for most of the season, it looked like I was going to be right with my prediction with Sheffield Wednesday, but in the end, they did survive in 20th. They had a terrible start on this game. Collected only 3 points from like 10 games or so. It was trenches for Sheffield Wednesday fans. Put it that way. But then Danny Roll comes in. It's literal first like professional job as a manager, and he does really well. He accumulates 50 points with the Owls, keep him up on the final day with a 2-0 win, I believe it was against Sunderland away from home. So yeah, that was a very, very good end to the season for Sheffield Wednesday. And I think the January transfer window was really good for them. They brought in Ike Ugbo on loan. He scored 7 goals and got 2 assists, I do believe, for Wednesday. And they brought in James Beadle on loan, who kept 8 clean sheets. Those two players being very vital for them in their relegation scrap last season, and in the end they stayed up, and they deserve to be in the championship next season, and they got a nice start to look forward to now against Sheffield United. So yeah, they'll enjoy that one next season. But yeah, not a great start, but quite a lot of people had Sheffield United down there, so I'm not gonna be too disappointed with that. Moving into 23rd, I did predict QPR once again. For the first bit of a season, it looked like I could be on to another right prediction here with QPR, because on Ainsworth they were terrible. But then, just like Danny Roll at Sheffield Wednesday, Marty Cifuentes comes in with little managerial experience, and does really well with them. Keeps them up comfortably in the end. I think that 4-0 win against Leeds, confirming their survival near the end of the season. But yeah, it's been a great turnaround from QPR, and it's going to be interesting to see how they can do next season. If they can keep their key players such as Chris Bullock and Ilias Chair, they will do very, very well. But yeah, not another great prediction, but yeah, they finished 18th. I'll predict them 23rd. Yeah, we move on to the next one, where in 22nd I had Rotherham. Of course, they go on to finish bottom of the league on, what was it, like 26 points now or something, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely dire season from the Millers. Their squad didn't really look up to championship standards from the first game of the season. And yeah, I think their away form was what killed them really as well. Way off safety in the end. Johansson tried his best in goal to save as many points as he could for Rotherham, but it just wasn't happening for the Millers, unfortunately. Of course, he sacked Matt Taylor, who ended up actually going to Bristol Rovers and done another bad job there. So clearly he's not a very good manager. But they brought in Liam Richardson after that, who couldn't get a tune out of the players. It wasn't really necessarily his fault. That I just do believe that Rotherham, their squad wasn't really championship quality. And then they brought in Steve Evans, the former Stevenage manager and former Rotherham manager, actually came back and got a nice win on the final day, 5-2 against Cardiff. But yeah, he will take them into their League One season next year, where hopefully they can have more fun League One, and it won't be as much of a struggle. But yeah, I predicted them to go down. They did. I'll take that as a very good prediction. 21st, I predicted Huddersfield. course, they did actually end up getting relegated in 23rd. Yeah, of course, Neil Warnock started the season off with Huddersfield. Of course, he kept him up last season, miraculously. But he then resigned after a 2-2 draw against Stoke. He just left, really, because he went to go manage Aberdeen in Scotland. And then, of course, Darren Moore, the former Sheffield Wednesday manager, came in, and he got a lot of draws, which were very unhelpful. He ended up getting sacked after a 1-1 draw away at QPR, I do believe. Then they tried to bring in Andre Brighton-Writer from abroad. Got a few good results here and there, like the 1-1 against Leeds with 10 men, 6 out to mind. But ultimately, they just couldn't grind out the results, Huddersfield. A few dodgy decisions in there, like the penalty we got against them was never a penalty, but then they had that chance to in the next game against Birmingham in that big game down the bottom to get 3 points, and they dropped points in that one. So that was a game that ultimately set them down in the end. But yeah, they brought in now Michael Duff for the League One season. I think he will do well with them in League One. He's a good manager at League One level. So yeah, maybe signs for optimism for Huddersfield fans going to next season. But this season just was not a good one, as they did go down in 23rd, only 2 places off of Huddersfield. So I'll take that very much. Coming in 20th, I did predict Plymouth. I was only 1 place off with Plymouth. I think they finished 21st in the end, which they miraculously survived. Schumacher started out the season with them, and he did quite well, and then he decided to jump ship and join Stoke, which left a bitter taste in the mouths of Plymouth fans. And then they brought in Ian Foster, the former, I think it was England youth coach, and he just couldn't get things going in Plymouth. He was eventually sacked after we beat them 1-0 away from home, I do believe. Then, they had their caretaker manager, Neil Dewsnip, who saw the season out, and then a 1-0 win against Hull on the final day to confirm their safety, pitch invasions. Their player that carried them to survival this year, without a doubt, Morgan Whittaker, 19 goals, 8 assists. Very good player, and he's not sticking at Plymouth going into next season, let me tell you that. Plymouth have him to thank for them not being relegated this season. It's good to see them stay up, because they are a good club, Plymouth. I do quite like them, so it was nice to see them stay up in the end. Only 1 place off of this one, so yeah, that was a good prediction by me. 19th place, let's go with Watford. Finished 15th, so I'm only 4 places off with Watford, to be fair. Watford are just sort of a very average team. They're not really interesting to watch as a Championship fan. The only real good player I can remember from this season was Yasser Asprilla. I believe he got like 6 goals, 7 assists. But apart from that, it's just very, very boring, really, to be honest, watching Watford. Start the season off with Valérien Ismaël. He inevitably got sacked. It's just what Watford do, sack their managers. After 3 months or so, it's honestly crazy. Then they brought in former player Tom Cleverley. So we're going down a different route, going with the younger manager, going to next season for Watford, see how that one goes. But this season has been quite a disappointing season for them. It needs to turn around next season, really. 18th, I did predict Cardiff. They went on to finish 12th in the end, so I'm 6 places out on the Bluebirds. It's a bit of a weird one with Cardiff, because on one hand you could say that they need to work on their defence, because 70 goals conceded. That was like what they're joint 5th, 4th worst defence in the league, alongside Plymouth or something like that, which is really, really concerning. But then, on the other hand, you could say, they need to work on their attack, because it does show a lot when their fullback this season, Perry Ng, was their top scorer, six goals plus 4 assists as well. Cardiff really need to about what they're going to do next season, who they're going to sign. It's a massive summer for them, and I really don't know where Cardiff can go next season, but we'll see over summer who they do sign. 17th, I did predict Birmingham, and they unfortunately went on to get relegated. It was a good transfer window, to be honest, in the summer for Birmingham. It bringing in the likes of, Srika Dembele, Ethan Laird, Koji Marshy looks very exciting. Jay Stansfield turned out to be a really good player for them on loan from Fulham. But then to sack Eustace when you were 6th place and bring in Wayne Rooney, that is ultimately why they got relegated. Then they finally sacked Rooney after, 15 games and only 3 wins or something like that. Just not very good. And then of course they brought in Tony Mowbray, who looked to be a safe pair of hands, but unfortunately he had to step down due to health reasons. So then they stuck with their assistant manager Mark Venus, but that wasn't going well. So they brought in an emergency manager, Gary Rowett, former manager there at Birmingham once before. They brought him back, he got a few results here and there, but ultimately not enough to keep them up in the end. Win on Friday against Norwich, but it wasn't to be, because Blackburn and Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday as well all won. So Birmingham were very unlucky going down 22nd. I thought they'd have an actual decent season, but they've been in relegation for a long time now. It was finally time that they do go down to League One, but hopefully we see them come back up soon. But 17th place I did go with Birmingham. 16th place I did go with Hull. Now Hull really surprised me this season, finishing 7th in the end, so I'm 9 places out with Hull. They had some very, very good players that are really good to watch, like Jane and Philogene, Fabio Carvalho, Ozan Tufan. It was a very good team they had under Liam Rosenior. Unfortunately missing out on the playoffs on the final day after a 1-0 defeat to Plymouth. That was a tough game because Plymouth had to win as well to stay up. So, imagine it would be a very intimidating atmosphere for those whole players and fans on the final day. But then the weird decision for them deciding to sack Liam Rosenior. They still have not appointed a manager at the time of recording, so it could be interesting to see who they bring in for next season. But we had a decent season this season. Can they keep up next year? I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see how they do with transfers this summer. But 16th place, I did say Hull. Moving to 15th place, where I went with Stoke in the end. Stoke, they've had an alright season. They finished in 17th in the end. There was a relegation scare a few weeks back, but a few good results towards the end of the season, and they managed to stay up in the end, 17th. And there's quite a few decent players at Stoke, but every time actually they always seem to underachieve and come bottom half of the table. But Steven Schumacher, maybe there's a project going on there. Beat Merseyside Bristol City 4-0 on the final day, so maybe signs are there that they can have a positive season next season. But I don't know. Once again, we'll have to see how the summer goes for them for Stoke. But I'm only 2 places off with Stoke, which I will take very, very much. 14th, this is my worst prediction. I predicted Ipswich Town. I thought 14th would be a decent season for them, coming out from League One, establishing themselves back in the Championship. But no, they came into the Championship and they just started really, really well, and of course obviously got promoted in the end, finishing in 2nd place. It was an unbelievable season, really, scoring goals for fun. Such a very good team to watch as neutral. And I'm excited to see how they get on in the Premier League next year. Kieran McKenna, the manager, worked wonders this year with Ipswich. Second place, I don't think many people saw that coming really. But no, I have to say I have to make a massive apology to Ipswich because I very much underestimated you guys. 12 places out, that's not good, isn't it? But yeah, good luck to you guys in Premier this year. You deserve to go up after a season you've had. 13th place, I did predict my side, Bristol City. I'm only 2 places out of this one. We did finish in 11th. And yeah, it's been a decent season for us. The 4th best defensive record this season with only 51 goals conceded, only behind West Brom, Leeds and Leicester. So, we've got a very tight defence. And yeah, 53 goals conceded, scored, sorry, 53 goals scored. Goals are our biggest thing to work on going into next season. Hopefully we can sign a striker. Tommy Conway looks like he's off to Rangers at the moment. These are the links at the moment. But yeah, so we may need a striker to replace him. But yeah, overall it's been a decent season. Hopefully we can build on it again next season. Of course, we sacked Nigel Pearson early on, brought in Liam Manning. Had a little bit of a wobble, especially in the middle part of the season, but recently it's been very, very good. Before the Stoke game, we were like, I think it was 8 games unbeaten or something, and we conceded like 2 goals or something in those games as well. So yeah, we're slowly improving, year upon year. Maybe next year we can push for playoffs, hopefully, who knows. But yeah, Princess 13th, we finished 11th, round about the same area. 12th, I did predict Preston. Preston went on to finish 10th in the end, so once again only 2 places off with Preston. They started well, Preston, but then they fell off a cliff really. And 67 goals conceded. It's like the 7th worst defence in the league, which is quite concerning if you're a Preston fan. And Ryan Lowe, don't think he's the most popular character as a manager there at Preston. So I don't know where Preston are gonna go next season. It depends really, but Preston are always that team just finish mid-table. They're so predictable nowadays. 11th place, I predicted Blackburn. Now I'm 8 places out on this one. Blackburn went to finish 19th in the end. Survived on a final day of 2-0 win against champions Leicester away from home. The only reason why Blackburn stayed up is their star man Sammy Szmodics. 27 goals scored this season. They're the top scorer in the league. Where would they be without them? That's a question Blackburn fans will be asking themselves right now. I can't see him staying at Blackburn this summer. I think he's gonna get moved maybe to the Premier League. In the end we did survive. John Nell Thompson, the manager who started out the season, he left in February, I do believe. John Eustace came in then, steadied the ship a little bit, stayed up in the end. It was 1-0 win away at Leeds. That was a good win for them in their survival hopes. We did survive in the end. Where can we go next season? Again, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, 8 places out on that one. Not my best prediction, I'll be honest. 10th place, I did go with Norwich. Now Norwich, they went on to finish 6th in the end. Made the playoffs, lost in the playoffs, so 4-0 on an aggregate to Leeds, which was unlucky for them. Leeds are a good team. Norwich, it was a okay season. Struggled with their away form, but their home form was very, very good. But they sacked David Wagner now after that season. So who knows what will happen in the next season. They need a manager in quite soon. Who knows who that manager could be. It was a decent season for them to get into the playoffs. Unfortunately missed out. Maybe it can go again next season. Who knows? They had great players. It seemed like Johnny Rowe, breakout season for him in Norwich shirt. Josh Sargent as well, 16 goals. yeah, they had a very good season. Gabriel Sara as well midfield. They had some good players and decent season for Norwich. And yeah, they can go again next season maybe. Ninth place, I did predict Swansea. Now they went on to finish 14th in the end. It's been an okay season for Swansea, to be fair. It started out seeing with Michael Duff, that didn't work. He was sacked in December, and Luke Williams came in, and it's looked decent, really. I think, similar to Liam Manor, I think Luke Williams he's a young coach. He can start to build a project there with Swansea, just like Liam Manor is with Bristol City. So hopefully next season for Swansea and Tristan, the season can be very exciting. Unlike this season, really, for Swansea. But yeah, 5 places out of Swansea. There's not a lot to say about Swansea other than they had a terrible start to the season, but picked up towards the end, finishing mid-table, and yeah, hopefully they can build for next season well. In 8th place, I predicted Sunderland. Sunderland had a very disappointing season, finishing in, 16th place now, I do believe. That was a very, very disappointing season for Sunderland. Jack Clark really did carry them with, I think it was 15 goals or something in the league. It was a very good season for him whilst he was fit. But yeah, he couldn't guide Sunderland up towards the playoffs where they were the season before. Of course, they had Tony Mowbray to start off the season, and I'm not quite sure why they sacked him, to be honest, because he was doing alright there, but they decided to part ways with him in December, and then to bring Michael Beale was not a great decision, really, because he really didn't do well with Sunderland. Couldn't get a tune out of the players. He was sacked in around February time, wasn't he? I do believe I think it was after a 2-1 defeat away to Birmingham. And then, their assistant manager Mike Dodds took over for the rest of the season. Steadied the ship, but, still not a very good season for them. In 7th place then, just missing out on the playoffs, I did predict West Brom. They got into playoffs, actually, a fair play to them, but unfortunately did lose out in the semi-finals 3-1 on aggregate to Southampton. But yeah, it was a decent season for West Brom. They stayed in the playoffs for the majority of the season. They never looked like they were slipping out of it. Fair play to them, they made it. Fortunately missed out though to a good Southampton side. But they'll go again next season, I'm sure. And yeah, overall decent season. They're only 2 places out with West Brom, so I would take that indeed. Now in 6th, I did predict Coventry. They unfortunately did not make the playoffs. They went on to finish 9th. So I'm in 3 places out, to be fair. So not a bad prediction from me. Of course, Coventry, they were decent all season. One player that stood out to me was a striker, Hadji Wright, scoring 16 goals and also getting 7 assists as well. I'm pretty sure he had a very decent season. Of course, they had a magical FA Cup run where they nearly knocked out Man United, coming back from 3-0 down to 3-3 in the semi-final, but unfortunately just lost out on penalties. Coventry, a good club. They'll be back up there again, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm 3 places out with Coventry. Now in 5th place, this is another bad prediction, really. I did predict Millwall, and they went on to finish in 13th, so I'm 8 places out on Millwall. And if it wasn't for their late run towards the end of the season, then I could have been even more out of Millwall, because they were down there in the relegation scrap, really, for the most part of the season. So then recently, under former boss Neil Harris coming back, they've actually looked really good. Looking like their old selves, hard to beat. Gary Rowett started the season off with them. Things won't work on them. They sacked him in the October international break. Brought in, young manager Joe Edwards. It was his first ever, job in as a manager. Didn't really go too well for him. And we sacked him, brought in Neil Harris though, who got tune out players, and they managed to stay up in the end. And not just stay up, but comfortably survive in the end. 13th, not quite 5th though, isn't it? Potentially next season they could be up there towards playoffs once again. Millwall, they had a really good end to the season, so if we could stay right into next season, then I feel they would do very well. Coming in 4th place, who did I predict? I predicted Southampton, so that's actually a correct prediction there. Southampton, well, finished 4th. They've made playoffs. They beat West Brom in the semis. They will face Leeds United this weekend in the final. Yes. But yeah, of course, Southampton have been very consistent throughout the season under their manager, Russell Martin. Adam Armstrong had a good season, scoring 21 goals, the second top goal scorer in the league. Of course, they had that 25-game unbeaten run in the season as well, in all competitions. Of course, that ended when they came to Ashton Gate and we played them off the park, winning 3-1. That was a very nice performance to watch from City. But of course, yeah, Southampton, very good team. They could easily go up this weekend. Who knows? I think either side deserves to go really. Leeds and Southampton, both quality teams. In third place, I predicted Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough finished 8th in the end. They had a very good season. The season before last, and Michael Carrick made the playoffs. Unfortunately, lost out in his semis to Coventry. So everyone thought really this season they'd be up there again. But they were a little inconsistent in the middle part of the season, but they had a good run towards the end, finishing 8th in the end. Maybe next season they can build on that and get into the playoffs under Michael Carrick. But it's been a decent season, but not quite playoffs for them. But everybody thought they would do well this season and get playoffs, but that wasn't the case in the end, unfortunately. Second place, I did predict Leeds, and 1 place off of this one. We went on to finish third. Leeds, they've had some quality players for season, like Somerville, Archie Gray, Ethan Ampadu, Dan James. They had a very talented squad. And it's crazy really that they didn't get automatically promoted, but they have a chance in a playoff final this weekend at Wembley against Southampton to potentially break the playoff curse. They've never won a playoff before. Can this be the time they do it and get into the Premier League once again? We'll have to wait and see. But Daniel Farke, it's been a good season for Leeds, and who knows? I'm only 1 place off of them, so I'd say that's a good prediction. Who knows? We could be back in the Premier League next year. And first place, is it a surprise? I went with Leicester City. Like most people did, and of course they did go on to win the league. There was a little stumble in there in the middle part of the season really, but ultimately they are deserved champions. Very good team under Enzo Maresca this season. Like Fatawu, Mawadidi, of course Dewsbury Hall has been really good as well. Leicester, I can say a lot of good things about them. They deserve to win the league. They did, with 97 points in the end, which is a very good points tally. Very good season for them, and they'll try to enjoy the Premier next season. Those are my predictions, guys. So now let's compare these predictions to my predictions from the past 2 seasons where I've done predictions, and see how I've done in each of these seasons. So I'm doing it for the last 2 seasons and now this one as well. So let's have a look. So in the 2021-2022 season, when I did my championship predictions, I got 126 points. Of course, you get the points are based on how far away you predicted the teams from where they actually finished. So the aim is to get as least amount of points as possible. So in that season, I got 126 points with 3 correct predictions. The season after that, I got 101 points with 1 correct prediction. And now this season, I've got 101 points again, but with 2 correct predictions. So each year, I'm just slowly getting better at these predictions. Next year, I'm getting them all right. You heard it here first. But those were my predictions, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed this video down below. Smash like if you did. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.